welcome back. Mr. Varanakula Surya, now in the midst of all these perils that have that are confronting the judiciary, there was also another very serious matter. This question of the Nalaratnam Singarasa case of 2006. And there was a move, I think, by certain individuals to petition the Supreme Court to have that set aside. Now that would have brought about certain very serious consequences for Sri Lanka. I mean, in terms of subordinating the Supreme Court. That is, after you exhaust all options in Sri Lanka, if you set aside that case, then you are allowed to appeal to the Human Rights Committee in Geneva. So that basically ends the supremacy of the Supreme Court. And also, that effect would be achieved without the laws being passed by Parliament. I mean, simply by knocking down this judgment, you can achieve both those. On the one hand, you take away the powers of Parliament, and in one fell swoop, you also subordinate the Supreme Court to another body overseas. So I think that also you took up with the
what happened very interesting thing happened under the Bar Association. I was not there on that meeting. Some person has taken up, I think Mr. Rajiv Perra's former senator's son, I forget his name. He had a young, energetic boy. He wanted the Executive Committee to examine whether the statement made by Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe in Parliament, whether it is contempt of court. Contempt of court, I think, because borders on contempt, whether he want to examine. Then what happened at the Executive Committee, then somebody has said, we can't just think like that. This matter must be re-examined. This judgment should be of Sarath and Silva, should be nullified, because with Sarath Silva there are all kinds of connotations now. And we must permit Singarasa case, judgment of order of the Singarasa case must be carried out. Then this came back to the Bar Council, and I was there at that time. I said, whose initiative? You cannot take this matter up on the basis of some question in the Executive Committee. But the most dangerous thing is that when Singaraja was convicted under the Prevention of Terrorism Act, he had made only a confession. Of course, we admit that there was only his confession. Now this confession, even before the confession is being recorded, after recorded, whether the confession is to be admitted or not, there is a long process in the High Court, avoid inquiry, to find out whether it is a voluntary statement. After long inquiry where people can cross-examine, various things happens, and then ultimately they decide it's voluntary. Then on that basis is convicted and given 50 years. They go to the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal reduces the sentence to 35 years. Then they go to the Supreme Court. Now you must understand very important thing. Justice Mark Fernando is considered one of the greatest judges we have produced. He, when you read his judgment, he is a super intellect. He is beyond this ordinary realm of ordinary people like myself or any other person. He is such a fine man. Now all these matters were brought before him, and he decided not to overrule the judgment of the Court of Appeal. So they decided to 35 years was the conviction. Then what happened? This man went to this Geneva Human Rights Committee. Now the danger is, if the danger is they examine that and said that there is only a confession. That is why that order should be overruled. If that is so, there are so many people languishing in the remand, LTD suspects, be convicted only on the confession. So they have never. So all those people will have the same right, and the whole concept of the Prevention of Terrorism Act, everyone has to be discharged. This is one of the most dangerous things that can happen. Then whatever it is, when the judgment came, I must also say the good aspect is Sarath Silva one of the most brilliant judges. He is one of the most brilliant state officers, very good Attorney General, very fine, very brilliant Attorney General, and a brilliant judge. He wrote a fine judgment, so many pages, right, upholding our sovereignty, which is very, very, very important, and they are rejecting that. Now they want to repeal that. They want to go to the Supreme Court. The five-bench decision. Can anyone, just because they have some vested interest, could want the biases or anyone to appeal? I said no. If you want, you can make appeal to the Supreme Court, because this is the thing, as you said, that keep of sovereignty. Otherwise, we will be subject to various things. And I know a certain alternative newspaper got some $50 million from the same.
In your view, Mr. Ganakulasuriya, if you take the legal fraternity, would they like to see the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka subordinated to
No,
the Human Rights Committee?
The whole problem is legal fraternity in this case. Also sometimes divided. No, the whole problem is, in my case, that I have, when Shirani Bandaranaike was to be impeached, I opposed it. I was opposing Mahinda Rajapaksa. Though I was serving ambassador, came back. Then when Jaya Jawadan wanted to impeach Neville Samarakone, we opposed it. So we have no politics in this matter. Even here, Shirani Bandaranaike's case, people say that I have appeared for Duminda. No, I did not appear for Duminda, and I don't care a damn about what happens to him. That's not my position, That is the thing that we decided. But then, Dumindo, any person must have fair trial in this country, and a judge must be able to write a judgment independently. So that is why I took up that matter. So similarly, even in Singarasa's case, if there is the whole problem is, we must not think of what our political masters want us to think. We have not become puppets so that they can maneuver us. No, we must be independent. Biases must be independent. We must be in a position to tell them, look here, this is not for us. If you want to go to the Supreme Court, and we must oppose that. Actually, we must go to the Supreme Court and oppose any application made by any person, because this is a free and sovereign country. Even the war would have not been able to conclude. There would have been some direction coming from some court, stop the war. What happens? They will make a fundamental application, asking them to stop the war. The Supreme Court refused that, and they will go to they are the wrong, stop the war. Can you do this? So this is the absolute madness. So when we take an independent stand and oppose this, when Rashad Badruddin is not still talking to me because of the stand I took. When he burned the house, I said he must be indicted. When Manjunathra was assaulted, I took the stand I was with Manjunathra Ratna. I said those fellows must be arrested. We have no politics. As far as I am concerned, the judiciary is sacrosanct. That is where we have earned our living. That is where that is the only thing we can give to the people, freedom, so that they can adjudicate their rights before a forum like that. This is not for any politician to interfere with.
Mr. Ganakulasuriya, we all know you as a lawyer, but also you have been a columnist for 2 newspapers, including The Island and the Sunday Times.
Yeah.
You have written a book recently. Can you tell us a little about it?
It's called the Mudliya. This is a collection of all the articles I wrote from 1997 to 2002, which appeared every Sunday, the Sunday Times. There also, if you read this book,
all about the judiciary.
All about the judiciary, but the lawyers, the legal profession. Now, Chandra, when you read history, you have facts and figures, people, and all that. But then we don't know the inside. We know what kind of people they were. Here I try to portray who the judges were, how the judges behaved, what kind of person G.P.S. Sidha was, what a simple human being he was.
All based on your very personal observations.
All these and also right from the beginning, even I go back to the judgments of various people, like Justice Parandra Ranasinghe, where he acquitted that famous R.P. Vijayasiri for having defamed J.R. Javadana filth. Just imagine the time when J.R. Javadana was abused in filth by the only 7 members of the CLP government, by R.P. Vijayasiri. He was indicted. And the judgment and the foregone conclusion, go to jail 10 years. Then they went and appealed, and people like Colin De Silva took up the brief, went before Paradara Singh, who was one time a card-carrying member of the UNP. He decided the point taken by Colin De Silva was correct, and he acquitted R.P. Vijayasiri. So, I mean, this is the type of people. I have written about them. I have written about the great judges we had.
The judiciary should have the freedom to do that.
Freedom to do that. I have the great judges and the great legal personality we had. The Bar Association, Shirani Bandara's appointment, various things. The struggle we had, continuous struggle we had against them, and also not to permit, not to protect the judges from vilification. So I think I will be grateful, any person who wants to see the history. 1997 was the end of our golden era of the judiciary. By 2002, GPS had retired, and the whole judiciary was in turmoil. But still there were independent judges. You must understand, Mahinda Rajapaksa is president today because we have independent judiciary.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he was. And Ranil Wickramasinghe is also prime minister today because we have independent judiciary. There was a time, during Chandrika Bandara's time, to make him an accused in Lalit Ratnamundari's case. Very few people know this. And it is we who fought that and ensured that there was no action taken against him. And also the creation of Mr. Victor Rai when the Butler on the commission, the whole thing was created by him in order to put Ranil Wickramasinghe behind bars. Because there was an independent judiciary, they could not do that. Though the commissioners, whatever they said, they couldn't have gone to the Supreme Court. So therefore, very many people today would have not been in the position if there was a judiciary which is extension of the executive. Because they are independent, we are grateful to them, and we hope to support them in their future. So please, I would be grateful if you would buy a copy from Godage. They will give a special discount also, and have a copy of this. These are written in English. I believe even the language is very, very simple. Anybody could read and understand.
Yeah, well, tonight we have discussed a number of issues. The question of the media, or a section of the alternate media really, intimidating judges and what can be done about it. The need for the media to have the freedom to comment on the law or the facts of a case, however, without vilifying the judge concerned. And it should be possible for the media to do that during a case, after the case, or even before an indictment is made. And I suppose we have discussed the need to curb these personal attacks on judges, which sort of intimidate them and prevent them from, or is designed to prevent them from making the right judgments. And finally, we have discussed the Nalaratnam Singarasa case, which is one of the most important judgments delivered in recent times in relation to the authority of the Supreme Court and also the powers of Parliament. So it's very essential to see to it that that particular judgment is not overturned, even if Nalaratnam Singarasa is given a presidential pardon and released from jail, so that we get rid of the issue.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, really, Mr. Varun,
I have no objection to that. I have no objection.
Nobody is talking about Nalaratnam Singarasa.
Yeah,
they're talking about the case. And Singarasa is still rotting in jail.
Yes, that's right.
So it's not, that doesn't seem right at all.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you very much for being with us on the program, Mr. Hemanta Varnakrosi. It was a pleasure having you on this program.
I must also thank the RTV and the producers and the camera, and also my good friend Chandra Prema, who had an excellent way of interviewing people, because I believe he has asked some very important questions, and I'm very grateful to him, thankful to him for having invited me. Thank you.
Yeah, on that note, we end the program. Thank you and good night.